Coming up this week, Sam Altman wants to kill Slack, but could Slack emerge as the ultimate AI winner? A new Claude skill makes your vibe-coded pages look less like generic AI slop. New data shows how AI agents saved one company $3 million, and a new SDK that could transform how product teams build conversational interfaces. Stay tuned for all of that and more, and as always, if you enjoy the briefing, hit the subscribe and the like button. So first up this week, Sam Altman has suggested that the world needs an AI-native version of Slack and other workplace tools that replaces the stream of messages that he describes as fake work. Speaking to Tyler Cohen at the Progress Conference, Sam Altman said that one of his biggest bugbears right now is the morning dread of having to deal with what he calls an explosion of Slack conversations every day. In the future, he says, AI agents will do most of the heavy lifting for us, and he hints that OpenAI may be building this solution. It'll be interesting to see what OpenAI is cooking up, but is Slack actually best placed to position itself at the center of this vision of an AI-native workplace? New reports this week show that some companies have ditched internal tools like Jira to focus solely on Slack instead. In this piece on The Information, the Norwegian startup Remarkable Tablets say that they've ditched Jira for IT support and instead now rely solely on Slack. And earlier this month, Linear's CEO announced a feature that he says is the best feature his company has ever shipped. This feature uses Slack conversations to allow users to quickly create Linear issues using the context of their conversations. So for example, you can ask Linear to quickly raise a bug based on the conversation that you're having with a colleague, and Linear will handle the rest. After watching Sam Altman's hint at an AI-native workplace, Notion's creative director also chipped into the debate, asking questions of what an AI-native version of Slack might look like. And perhaps the most interesting reply was this, where Slack threads happen asynchronously, with humans only there to interrupt the flow as exception handlers. Slack's parent company Salesforce has had a difficult time lately, with its stock price plummeting 20% on the year, but Altman's decision to focus on Slack as a tool he'd like to disrupt may actually prompt the company to double down on new AI-native approaches to conversations at work, which could make it emerge as one of the big winners in the AI race. What do you think? Do we need an AI-native replacement for tools like Slack? And do you think that Slack is best placed to win? Let me know in the comments below. And while the big beasts like Salesforce and OpenAI battle it out for the future of workplace productivity, it's a release from a much smaller company that actually caught my attention this week that might be helpful for product teams. This week, Hero, which is a productivity app founded by ex-Meta employees, announced a new patented SDK called AI Autocomplete. The problem with conversational interfaces, says Brad Kowalk, the CEO of Hero, is that users don't always know what they need to say. And in order to complete a multi-step action, this often involves a convoluted series of back and forth steps. This new AI Autocomplete SDK is designed to connect to multiple different products and then autocomplete your prompts based on the context it has. The SDK is currently in beta, but if you're looking for new ways to make your own product's conversational features smarter, then this could be worth checking out. And speaking of conversational features, in this week's deep dive over on Substack, I take a look at the UX of new conversational features. This analysis includes over 20 different examples from companies including Google, Adobe, Pinterest, Figma, Fitbit, and others, with a breakdown of how the conversational UX works along with downloadable UI for each example. So if you're currently exploring the possibility of adding conversational interfaces to your own product, then check that one out over on Substack. Elsewhere this week, if you're somebody who likes to vibe code prototypes or artifacts using Claude, then you'll have probably noticed by now that a lot of the time you end up with a generic looking front end that sticks to safe but dull patterns like gradients and backgrounds. This week, Claude published a new paper outlining how you can use skills to make major improvements to the output of your prompts. In this piece, Anthropic explains that these dull patterns are due to what it calls distributional convergence. In other words, during the sampling, the model predicts designs that are statistically common in website design data. These safe choices, so using fonts like Roboto and purple gradients on white backgrounds, dominate the training distribution. So without any guidance, it gravitates to the high probability center, which means that lots of landing pages end up looking the same. To fix this problem, Claude says its new skills can be used across 4 different dimensions to improve the overall quality of output. Here are some examples of the differences between pages created with skills and pages created using the generic models. So if you're interested in exploring ways to make your vibe-coded landing pages or app designs stand out, then check out this piece from Claude, which I'll put in the link in the description for you to read more of. Claude isn't the only product to get some improvements this week though. And fresh from its lawsuit with Amazon, Perplexity has announced that its Comet Assistant has gotten some improvements of its own. According to Perplexity, Comet is now 23% better than its predecessor and can handle complex multi-step tasks more efficiently, as well as working across multiple tabs if a task needs context from different sources. In the piece announcing the improvements, Perplexity showcases some examples of where Comet now excels, including things like keeping track of your child's school attendance, finding the best travel deals, and organizing a job search. In this example, it suggests using the following prompt to find a job in Comet, so I thought it might be interesting to put this to the test. And here's how it performed. This footage is sped up, but as you can see, the browser does an excellent job of navigating to the correct URL, entering the search criteria that I mentioned, and then comes back with a list of 20 jobs that meet that criteria. Elsewhere this week, Google rolled out some further improvements across some of its portfolio, including the release of AI-powered audio overviews for PDFs in Google Drive. This new feature allows you to convert text-heavy PDFs into audio-based summaries, which Google says is powered by the same underlying technology as NotebookLM. For product teams, this could be helpful for quickly digesting industry reports or strategy decks to get yourself up to speed before important meetings. Google also shipped what its product leader Josh Woodward described as its biggest update to Gemini Live ever, with improvements to speech expression, accents, and speed. So in this example, a student asked Gemini to explain a concept from a business school and then speed it up.
Hi Gemini, can you remind me what a VRIO framework is?
Sure. A VRIO framework is a tool used to analyze.
My class is about to start. Can you speed up?
Yes, so this assesses if a resource is valuable, rare, inimitable, and organized.
Cool, thanks.
Now let's take a look at some tools you can use, and we'll start with this new product called Papier's. Now I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Papier's lets you transform research papers into an easy to digest format with mind maps, social feeds, summaries, and more. And it's designed to make accessing research easier. So if you're someone who likes to stay up to date with the latest research on topics like AI and tech, but you find wading through papers a little bit laborious, then Papier's is a neat way to make that process simpler. Next up is a startup that describes itself as your always-on AI analyst, advisor, and coach. And this is called Clarity. Clarity is a COO's dream since it captures all of your operational processes and then analyzes them to find opportunities for AI automation. For product teams, this could end up freeing up engineering time and help your wider business deal with things like IT problems. So if you're looking for new tools that will help you to identify opportunities for AI transformation, then Clarity could be worth checking out. And the final product for this week is something called Variant. And Variant is a tool that lets you sketch out any component that you want and then remix that until you find a design that you love. So you basically create a very basic sketch of whatever component you want to build and then continuously use generative AI to transform it until you find the design that you like. So this could be super helpful for product managers and designers who want to work together to come up with new ideas for components in their existing products. Now let's take a look at some data and trends, and we'll start with the major new report that was released this past week from McKinsey, which is their State of AI Report 2025. In it, they found that most organizations are still in the experimentation or piloting phase of AI transformation, with 38% of companies saying they have now entered the scaling or fully scaled phases. Other stats worth knowing for product teams include that 64% of companies say that innovation has improved thanks to AI, with employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and competitive differentiation all at 45%. AI is also saving companies money, with software engineering at the top of the list, with 56% of respondents saying that they had saved money on software engineering, and 7% said that their total costs had decreased by 20%. Product development, while not top of the overall cost saving, was the highest category to report a decrease of more than 20%. Overall, 10% of companies said that AI had decreased product development costs by more than 20%, which is higher than all other categories. High-performing companies are more likely to have taken their AI agent rollout to the scaling phase, with 33% of AI high performers saying that AI agents are scaling or fully scaling. And this is starting to manifest itself in the real world. New analysis from the Wall Street Journal this week found that the financial company BNY now has around 100 AI agents or digital employees that have their own distinct login credentials and communicate via Microsoft Teams and report to a human manager. As well as this, a data management SaaS company says that it has saved over $3 million by using AI agents to haggle and to negotiate better prices with its third-party vendors. The agents read contracts, identify instances where it thinks the prices are too high, and then automatically drafts emails on behalf of human procurement managers who can hit the send button if they're happy. So amongst all of the hype around AI agents, we're now starting to see some real-world practical implications of AI agents in action. And finally this week, Facebook waved goodbye to a major player in its AI efforts this week with the rumoured departure of AI exec Jan LeCun. But aside from his departure, it was also a week where Facebook waved goodbye to another tech icon, the like button social plugin. When it first launched back in 2016, social plugins were everywhere. But now they've been consigned to the bin of internet history, remembered with little more than a blog post on Meta's engineering blog, which states that from February 2026, the like button will literally disappear, with the button being replaced with a 0-pixel invisible element. And on that note, I'll leave it there for this week. Thanks very much for listening and watching. I'll be back next week with another briefing.